Hey guys, I'm gonna keep this pretty casual. Welcome to the channel if you're watching. I appreciate it. My wife and I kind of talked about doing this. We'll probably never make any money off of this, not what we're doing it. But we bought our house a couple years ago, uh, and the people who sold it, said everything was completely updated in 2013 by contractors and all that. And don't get me wrong, we still got a great deal. We live in the Pacific Northwest. Um, our house values done nothing but go up just because location, location, location. We were smart enough to buy in an area they're kind of re-updating in our market. But our house was built in like 1907, so it's 113 years old, and it has a lot of the quirks from that. There's little bits of settling, things like that. Nothing that was crazy. It was move-in ready when we moved into it. Um, and we just kind of made some decisions on the house that we wanted to update based on our own comfort levels of living, but we didn't want to put a bunch of money into it. And then over the years, we decided, oh, well, we're going to put some flooring in. So I saved some money up, and we had money set aside to have a contractor. We went and bought all the supplies, but they were going to come in and do the flooring. And that kind of fell through. I had a friend of mine who does it. Never get mad at a friend if it doesn't work out. At the end of the day, he just had a lot of other projects that came up and he couldn't fit the time frame I just wanted. I could have waited. And the reality is that's not his fault. If somebody's doing you a favor, you can't get mad at them if you have to work off of their schedule. But it just came down to I just didn't want to wait. And so my father-in-law came over and, disclaimer, my father-in-law is a master carpenter. He knows how to build a house from top to bottom. So I definitely have picked up some tricks from him. But he came over and we did the floor in one day. Don't get me wrong, it was a long day. A professional probably could have come in and done it in a couple hours. I think we spent 16, and that was just entryway, living room, dining room. So it definitely took some time, but sweat equity, I mean, we saved something like 3 to 5 grand on labor cost. So that's kind of what sparked it. I do not come from a background of really using tools much. My dad made me learn how to do basic stuff on cars so that I wouldn't end up having to pay out the butt because we grew up really poor and we didn't have the option of hiring people. So that's kind of what this started with is, we know that normal people can't renovate their house and like live in a motel and, you know, not be in their house, and they have normal jobs. Like, I can't shut down my house. I have a full-time job, so does my wife. We have a, almost 3-month-old at home, and the reality is we still do these projects around that. I travel a lot for work. There's times where I'm gone the entire week, and so the only time I get to work on the projects is on the weekend, and then still trying to have time for family. And I think that's the real side of it that most people don't really get on the DIY channels that I've watched. And they're super informative and super helpful. Trust me, I love some of the channels out there. And as we go forward, I'll probably mention some of the tricks I've learned from other channels and give them a shout out, because I can't do tutorials. I'm going to share my experience and what I'm going through and kind of the things I've screwed up, the things I've gotten right, the things that are an absolute disaster in our house because somebody was cutting corners even though they were a professional. Because I think a lot of people are going through that, and maybe this video, if anything, is just reminding you that you're not the only one going through that. So I kind of give you a quick overview of the front of our house because that's kind of where I'm working today. Our house is decent size, like 25 feet wide, double story, really tall. It's hard to really tell. We've got a 6-foot privacy fence, our shed back there. That mess right there is part of what I'm doing. Those ferns I put in. But we're going to do some projects on this channel. Some things I've already done, and some of the things we're going to do. And this is, my house. I'm a DIYer. But we're going to bring everything up to code. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a plumber. So the things that I can legally do in my district, code-wise, and have an inspector come in, I will, so that it's all done accurately. But we'll show you kind of the things that kind of got half-assed, especially like when we get to my ceilings in my house. Inside my dining room, I have 7.5-foot ceilings, and the rest of my house is like 9. So we knew there was something kind of up. Yeah, they just covered up old ceilings and put the electrical through, and nothing's done to code. So we're going to fix all that. Uh, and we're going to do most of it really, really cheap because of sweat equity. And that's the thing is, I did not come from a background learning this stuff, so I'm teaching myself this or meeting with professionals and trying to learn from them, watching a ton on YouTube myself. But that way people can kind of share in the experience we have of, I don't have 20 grand to update my kitchen, but I want to update my kitchen. So we were able to buy all new appliances, and we're in the process of updating our kitchen right now for under five. And it'll probably add 15, 20 grand value to my house. So showing you how we did that, maybe it'll give you guys some ideas and some of the things that are out there to cut corners to not to do. One of the things most people don't know is once you open something up and realize it's wrong, you have to fix it, because if you knew your electrical's not to code and you don't have it fixed, if your house burns down, your insurance does not cover it. That's all on you. So it's one of the downsides to opening things up is once you realize it's wrong, you have an issue. But yeah, we're going to raise ceilings, we're going to redo insulation, we're going to replace subfloor in this house, all while raising a baby and working full jobs. So if that interests you, feel free to follow us along. Go ahead and share the video, like it. I appreciate all of it. And if nobody watches this, fine. It'll be a great way to document this for my son so he can see how we personally fixed and updated the house he was able to grow up in. So peace and thank you.